Alright, this is the first time I'm putting a review for a test out online, and this is for 7th grade, and it's the review for test number 5. We went through a lot of this in class today. Some classes got through the whole thing, some classes did not get through the whole thing. Basically what this is, though, is a preview of what the test will look like. We have very similar problems to the ones that you will see tomorrow on the test. And if you didn't get through the whole thing, this would be a good opportunity to look at the things that we didn't quite get to. If you did get through the whole thing and you were confused on one or two problems, skip around and try to find those and review those for tomorrow and get those problem areas fixed. Alright, so we're just going to jump in here. I might be going a little quick just so that I can get through everything. But remember, you can always pause or rewind if you need to. Alright, so the first question that will be very similar to tomorrow's test will be something like this. 342 books were packed into 9 boxes. If each box had the same amount of books in them, how many books were packed in each box? Alright, this is a classic division problem. We have 342 books. And we're going to pack them into 9 boxes. So you can imagine 9 different boxes here. And we got to divide these into 9 different boxes evenly. So that tells us that we're taking 342 divided by 9. So this would be our setup, which is the most important part. And then actually calculating it from there. So 9 goes into 34 3 times. Do our subtraction. We're going to cancel here. We get 7. Bring down our 2. 72. 9 goes into 72 8 times. And I know we get 8 times 9 and 0. So there would be 38 books in each box there. See if I have a better marker here. Alright, next question. How many years were there from 1325 to 1452? Well, we're looking for the range in between these two. So this would be a subtraction problem. 1452 and 1325. Subtract, we should be able to find the years in between those years. So we're going to cancel this one out so that we can borrow. 12 minus 5 is 7, 4 minus 2 is 2, 4 minus 3 is 1, 1 minus 1 is 0. So 127 years between those 2 years. Okay? And I'm not putting the labels on there, but remember, you want to do that tomorrow. I guess I'll start doing that so we can follow by example here. Alright, next question. Mr. G went to a game with $20 and returned with $7.30. How much did he spend at the game? Well, we have $7.30 left, so in order to figure out what we spent from that $20, we will subtract $7.30 from $20. Make sure you're lining up your decimal points. Alright, so 0 minus 0 is 0. Can't do 0 minus 3 in this situation, so we got to borrow from this 2, turn that into 1, 9, 10. 10 minus 3 is 7. Drop our decimal. 9 minus 7 is 2, and 1 left over. Left with, or I spent $12.70 at the game. Alright. Next problem. Alright. Johnny was really into his book. He stopped at page 242 to eat lunch. He stopped at page 351 to eat dinner. How many pages did he read between lunch and dinner? So, stopped here on page 242 at lunch, and he stopped at 351 at dinner. So we will subtract those two, kind of like the one with the years, figure out how many years were between the two dates. This is how many pages are between page number 351 and page number 242. And we should see, we have to borrow here, 11 minus 2 is 9. 4 minus 4 is 0. 3 minus 2 is 1. 109 pages. Alright. So far we've been dealing with a bunch of subtraction problems, and they have been word problems. Alright. Here's a bit of a longer one. 2/7 of the 63 marbles were green. How many marbles were green? How many were not green? And then tomorrow's question will also ask, what is the probability of drawing a green randomly? Well, let's focus on finding out how many were green first. And in class, these were all multiple choice answers here. Nothing will be multiple choice tomorrow though, just so you know. But in order to figure out what's green, we know that 2/7 were green, and that's 2/7 of our 63. Here, we'll move this over. Let's go over here. 2/7 of 63 were green. Now we have a shortcut for this one. We have a box way to do this one. We have a ratio way to do this one. We have a lot of options here. If you want to take the shortcut here, this really means 2/7 times 63 over 1, which what we can do there is take 63 divided by 7 and then multiply that answer by 2. That's the shortcut way. Or basically figuring out what 1/7 of 63 is and then multiplying it by 2. So 63 divided by 7 equals 9. And then 9 times 2 is 18. Alright, so we know that there are 18 green marbles. And we would know then that 3 should be our answer. But in order to figure out that 45 aren't green, you would take 63, your total amount of marbles, and subtract out your 18. And we should get 50 minus 7, 45. So 18 green, 45 not green. That would be number 3. Right there. Alright, now for tomorrow's sake, it also is going to ask, what's the probability of drawing a green randomly? Well, you could say that it'll be 18 out of 63 chance, but that's just going to reduce to what's already given, 2/7. Okay? So 2/7 are green, so your chance of getting a green is 2 out of 7. So that would be the probability of grabbing a green. And like I said, there are multiple ways to figure out the first part. I guess I could show you real quick. You could have set it up like this. 2/7 equals what? Over 63. You would figure out that the question mark is 18. Getting from 7 to 63 multiplied by 9. You would do the same thing up here. 2 times 9. And we figured out that that's 9 by taking 63 divided by 7 to get 9. So going from this side to this side, we multiply by 9. That's where we get 63. 2 times 9, 18. And that's how we get that. Oops, I'm dropping something. Drop my cat. That's the ratio way to set it up. You also could have done the box way. We are in 7ths. You could have done 7 boxes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 7 boxes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And we're going to want 2 of those eventually. You know the whole thing is 63. 63 divided by 7 is 9, so 9 goes in each box. But you only want 2 of those. Add those together, you get 18. Okay. So, sorry it took a little longer to go over that one, but just want to show you all your options there. Alright, prime factorization for 420. Remember, we're going to break this thing down into its prime factors. which comes from our factor tree. I know that this ends in 0, so I know 10 goes into it. 42 times 10 is 420. I know that 42 breaks down into 6 times 7. 6 times 7 is 42. 7 is a prime, so I'm going to circle that. 6 breaks down into 2 times 3. Those are both prime, so we're done on this side. 10 breaks down into 2 times 5, and those are both prime. So now we check what we have. We want to start with our smallest number that we see, 2. It looks like we have 2 of those. So 2 to the second times. Next biggest is a 3. We know the 3's. Next biggest is a 5. And next biggest is a 7. And we didn't double up on any more of those. So we should be looking at number 2 there. Oops, sorry. Right there. 2 squared times 3 times 5 times 7. Alright. Next one. Simplify 110 over 5. Another way that this, well, it'll look like this tomorrow. And they're going to have a bunch of problems where, well, not a bunch, a couple more where you have to just reduce fractions. This is kind of the same. This is also saying 110 divided by 5. And I am going to divide instead of just reduce because I know that 5 goes into here because this ends in 0. So 5 goes into 11 twice. 10, subtract, 10. And 5 goes into 10 twice. Subtract, we get 0. So answer there should be 22. If you would have just reduced it, like usual, I guess, we know that 5 goes into both of these. So reduced by, so 110 is 22, 110 divided by 5 is 22, 5 divided by 5 is 1. 22 over 1 is just 22. So 2 different ways for that. I'm going to check my time. Okay. Most likely we'll be breaking this up into 2 parts today. We've got time for a couple more here. Alright. Tomorrow you're going to have to identify from 4 different figures which one is a polygon. So in order to do that, you have to know the properties of the polygon. And remember, a polygon means it's a shape that has many angles. That's what poly means. Okay? So, which one is not a property of a polygon? And remember that polygons are your shapes like a square, an octagon, a hexagon, those types of things. So, number 1, polygons are 2-dimensional. This is true. All polygons are 2-dimensional. They are flat. Okay? They can be drawn on a XY plane. Number 2, polygons must be enclosed. This is also true. Polygons have to be enclosed. There can be no gaps or spaces in between segments. Number 3, polygon sides can be curved. This is the one that's not true. Polygon sides are always going to be straight, and they will always come to a point. There is no curvature for the sides. So if you see a circle tomorrow, you know that it's not a polygon. Alright, real quick, we'll do this one. It'll look something like that tomorrow. And we want to figure out what the question mark is. Alright, yes, this will be our last one, and then I'll make a part 2. So, basically what we want to do, I'll show you different ways to solve this later on, but I want to take 48 divided by 12 to figure out what I multiply 12 by to get to 48. So 48 divided by 12 is 4. So I know that 4 times 12 is 48. So multiply by 4 to get to this side. You do the same with the top. So 7 times 4 is 28. So that would be your answer for that one. I'm going to start part 2 after this.